A hot day in Las Vegas, Nevada. It always is in August at the outdoor arena behind the Dunes Hotel for our WBC World Welterweight Championship fight. Top-ranked Milton McCrory of Detroit, Michigan against second-ranked Colin Jones. That is McCrory there. He's 21 years of age. He is trained and managed by Emmanuel Stewart out of Detroit, weighed in at 147 pounds at the official weigh-in. You can see the only blemish on his professional record of the draw with Colin Jones last March. As for the young man from South Wales, he's 24 years of age, lives in Gorsinan. He weighed in at 146.5 pounds. He stands 5'8". McCrory stands just a fraction under 6 feet. He is listed in most places as 6'1", but we've measured him, and he is actually just a fraction under 6 feet. Colin Jones is a former Olympian. He lost in the round of 16 there. The former British and European champion, but he gave those up in order to fight for the WBC title. Isaac Herrera is the referee. He is out of Panama. He does not have a vote. It is a Latin panel. Angel Custodio Tovar of Panama, Rey Solis of Mexico, Anselmo Escobedo of Venezuela. Those are the judges. Those are the gentlemen that will decide the fate of these two men this afternoon. 104 degrees at ringside as we begin the first of 12 scheduled rounds. Milt McCrory will have a reach advantage of approximately 5 inches. In the training process for Colin Jones, he worked on his stamina. He is intent on getting off to a quicker start. Of course, on the other side, the right hand of Milt McCrory. He hurt it really a year ago against Roger Stafford in a fight in Phoenix, Arizona. And since that time, he's had trouble with it. He hurt it again in the fight against Jones up in Reno. And he went flat after the 6th round, with Jones coming on strong in the fight. So it's really a question of whether or not McCrory truly has the right hand back and can bang with it, or whether or not the Welshman with the heavy hands can go to the body early in the fight and try to take some of the speed away from Milt McCrory. The winner will succeed Sugar Ray Leonard as the welterweight champion of the WBC. Donald Curry is the WBA champion, an undefeated youngster out of Fort Worth, Texas. McCrory has thrown the right hand now on 4 occasions with some authority. So he seemed very happy with the way things had gone for him in the final phases of his training and pronounced himself most fit for this rematch against the Welshman. McCrory, always a busy fighter, going back to the times that we saw him as a young amateur. Always busy. Not particularly a banger, but always busy. And we'll pile up the points on you. The young man from Gorsinan who has done it all, from digging graves to working in coal mines in his home region to support himself and his young family. Glorious opportunity at hand for him. And he is slow to start again today. He is managed and trained by Eddie Thomas, who has had previous world champions in Howard Winston and Ken Buchanan. Eddie Thomas handling the cuts as well. Garth Bevins and Colin Jones' brother Ken is also at ringside, and we're now inside the final minute of this first round, scheduled for 12. Milt McCrory in the gold trunks on the left, and the Welshman with his back to you, Colin Jones. Tough, dogged kind of a fighter. He has been used to fighting in most of his career, fellows who will come at you. Well, McCrory won't necessarily do that. He'll stay away from you, stopping once in a while to bang with you. And I think that's a very important thing for McCrory, as he nailed him. McCrory stepped in, planted himself, and caught Jones right on the button. Colin looks into his corner. We've got about 8 seconds to go in the first round. He looked into his corner. His eyes seemed clear, and the bell. So, Milt McCrory's right hand apparently is back, huh? As Colin Jones goes down right above us at the closing seconds of this first round. Take a look at it. McCrory loads it up, comes over the top with a right hand following a left hook, and down went Colin Jones. He shook his head vigorously for the first 5 seconds of the count. Then he looked into his corner to Eddie Thomas. He seemed cogent, and he was up easily at the count of 8 and finished the round. So McCrory has to take great heart from that, as Colin Jones now looks about his corner, talks with Eddie Thomas, and of course everybody in the world right now, and particularly I am sure in Wales, is wondering whether or not their young gladiator has been able to shake the effects, the impact of the left hook and the straight, hard right hand thrown by Milton McCrory. Here we go to round number 2. Colin Jones down from a hard, straight right hand. A good left hook preceded it. So now, Colin Jones, I am sure most acutely aware of the fact that he's facing a little bit different kind of a fighter in McCrory. Milt tries the right. Jones comes back to the body with a good left hook dug just into the rib cage. Jones seems just fine. His only loss was to Curtis Ramsey of Portland, Oregon, and he lost that in Wales, believe it or not, as Ramsey was falling down, having been pummeled severely. Colin Jones hit him on the way down. They called it a foul, and the European rules being what they are, he lost the fight. So no one has really ever beaten him. McCrory trying to go to the body with the right hand. Jones is a deceptive sort of a fellow. His defense is much more effective than it might appear to the naked eye. And Milt McCrory became painfully aware of that in the middle going of their fight back in March. In fact, one of the prime strengths of Colin Jones, according to McCrory, is his defense. He's difficult to hit. But Milt sure did find him at the closing seconds of that first round with that straight right hand. Jones shows no marks. McCrory gets the right hand over the top and lands it alongside the head of Jones. Jones now parrying the McCrory right pretty well. Very, very hot day in Las Vegas. McCrory finds him with another right hand and the left hook to the side of the head. Milt throwing the greater number of punches, as again the Welshman is slow to get on track. A right hand over the top by Jones is just short. Milt McCrory, one of the quicker people in the 147-pound weight class. Very good fighter with his feet. Just inside the final minute of round number 2. Colin Jones down with 8 seconds to go in the first round from a straight right hand, and he has not done much here in the second round, though he appears to be totally recovered from the straight right that put him down. Pretty good left hand by Jones there to the side of the head of McCrory. Coming up on a half minute to go in round 2, scheduled for 12. Colin Jones covering well as McCrory tried to work him with the left and then come back with a left hook, and he couldn't get it in. Right is blocked by Jones. Jones a little more effective here in the last minute of the second round. But McCrory still throwing the greater number of punches in the fight. Round number 3 now. Colin Jones starting to come on in the final minute of the second round after being decked in the first round. The closing seconds. And the anxiety seems now to be gone from his corner as he is seemingly recovered from the left hook and right hand that put him down. McCrory staying busy. He has thrown far and away the greater number of punches. Colin Jones is wild. The referee is Isaac Herrera from Panama. It is a Latin panel of judges from Panama, Mexico, and Venezuela. This is for the WBC Welterweight Championship. The winner here succeeds the great Sugar Ray Leonard. There's the left hook again by McCrory. There's Emmanuel Stewart in the corner of Milt McCrory. Of course, one of the primary training partners and friend and stablemate of McCrory would be Thomas Hearn, who also works under the tutelage and management of Emmanuel Stewart. The right hand is picked off by Colin Jones that time, but it's the left by McCrory that is now beginning to redden the face of the Welshman. Jones now showing a bit of a mouse under the left eye. I think that's probably where that right hand landed that put him down. He had voiced the opinion, Jones had, coming into the fight, that he didn't feel that there was a welterweight in the world that could put him down or really hurt him. And the feeling among a lot of us was that Milton McCrory, if in fact he did have an effective right hand and it was not hurting him, that he had to stand in and take a shot. He had to bang some with the Welshman in order to get his respect early in the fight, and he certainly did that. But now Colin Jones is beginning to fight the kind of a fight we saw him work with in Reno, Nevada last March. That right hand by McCrory telegraphed a bit and picked off by Jones. One of the trademarks of Emanuel Stewart's fighters is that they all tend to leave that left hand low. That obviously makes an inviting target for someone with a right hand lead, but most of them are so quick, Hearns and McCrory and many of the others, that it's very difficult to get him. That right hand came over the top and he got Jones on the side of the head. But he didn't flinch on that one. Milton McCrory is dictating the pace of the fight so far here in round number 3 with 10 seconds to go. Through 3, it's McCrory's fight.
Your father gave it.
Round 4 now of this WBC Welterweight Championship fight. Colin Jones of South Wales, Gorsiden on the left, or in the red trunks, and Milton McCrory in the goal. Milton McCrory dropped Jones with 8 seconds to go in the first round from a straight right hand that had followed a left hook and sort of set him up. Jones worked himself out of trouble in the second round, started to come on a little bit, but McCrory remains the pace setter of the fight and has thrown the greater number of punches and has been the most effective puncher. Colin Jones still not really out of the blocks yet, and into his game plan of pressuring Milton McCrory and working to the body, trying to take away some of the foot speed. One of the things that, that's Tommy Hearns, the stablemate of Milton McCrory, who is at ringside and watching the fight, has helped prepare McCrory for this fight. One of the problems that Colin Jones has had throughout his career is he sort of fell in love with the idea that the big punch would carry him, and there were many times in which he won fights in the later rounds by relying on the big punch. But you're not going to get that with a Milton McCrory. He is not going to give you the big punch. You're going to have to search, 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 and eventually, if you're fortunate, you might find it. But he is taller, he has the edge and reach, and he is the quicker of the two men. So the probabilities of a big punch against him are quite remote. Everybody felt that Milton McCrory was well ahead in the fight after 6 rounds in Reno in March. Sort of went flat in the 7th. Got a little tired at altitude there. And the Welshman came on like gangbusters, but McCrory went inside of himself and gutted it out in the 12th and actually won the 12th round, though 2 of the judges did call it even. But many people felt that McCrory had won it. And even Jones felt McCrory had won it, and he wound up a draw. Now the left hand of Colin Jones begins to find McCrory a little bit more. But Milt stays very busy. There's a good left hook. The big left hook by Colin Jones, far and away his best punch of the fight. The wild right misses badly. But that's the most effective punch of the fight so far by Colin Jones, of a short, chopping left hook. And it is lethal. He can take almost anybody down with it in this weight division. McCrory just missed. He had him set for the right, loaded it, and just missed with it. McCrory is not running, not dancing like he did in the first fight. He's saving himself, pacing himself. He ran out of gas. It is a hot day, 104 on the ring apron as we began. So here in round 4, Colin Jones gets one effective punch, a blistering left hook. Round number 5, scheduled for 12, WBC Welterweight Title fight. The winner succeeds Sugar Ray Leonard as the WBC 147-pound champion. Colin Jones now still showing the mouse under his left eye. He got that in the first round when he was downed from the straight right hand. This is for the WBC version of the 147-pound title. The WBA champion is Don Curry. And he goes against Roger Stafford, a man that Milton McCrory beat in Phoenix a year ago. That'll be September 3rd. It'll take place in Sicily, and it will be seen here on ABC television. Don Curry, undefeated out of Fort Worth, and Roger Stafford. That'll be a good one. Milton McCrory seemingly with the fight in hand right now. Colin Jones, slow to get going. Eddie Thomas, the manager and trainer of Colin Jones, watching. Kenny Buchanan, perhaps the most celebrated of his previous charges. Though Howard Winston was also a champion under Thomas. There have been a lot of good fighters come out of Wales. Some of the names that you might remember: Jimmy Wilde, of course, one of the great all-timers, Tommy Farr, Joe Erskine, Jim Driscoll. A lot of good fighters out of that part of the world. Good left jab snapped into the face of McCrory by Colin Jones. Another good jab, stiff one. Colin Jones carries what fighters call heavy hands. That means he jars you when he hits you, even with a jab. We alert our local stations along the way that at the end of this round, we'll take a station break. This is round number 5, and we're inside a minute to go. No marks on McCrory. Little mouse under the left eye of Jones. Face quite red from the peppering. Jones steps in with that left hook. McCrory picked off part of it. Jones a little off balance when he throws that jab. He tends to twist his lead leg a bit when he throws it. So as a result, he is not terribly mobile after he's committed himself. That left hook high on the head, again partially deflected by McCrory. We'll be back with more of ABC's Wide World of Sports after this from our local stations. This is round 6. Now the question is whether or not Colin Jones will in fact begin to assert himself more. He was more aggressive in the 5th round. He has now bloodied the nose of Milton McCrory. He did that in the fight in Reno, and it caused Milt a little difficulty with his breathing in the late going. But the nose is bleeding again from the stiff left hand now that Colin Jones is starting to find him with, and he is landing it with authority. Hooks inside. McCrory ties him up. Blood on the face of the young man from Detroit. This fight amazingly following the pattern of the previous meeting. Hook to the body by Jones. Though in this one, Jones was down in the 1st round from a wicked right hand. And now McCrory's nose bleeding quite badly. That can become a bother as fatigue begins to get control of you. And here in round 6, Jones beginning to show some disdain for the flicking left hand of McCrory, going at him more and more. Covers well. McCrory ties him. Again, the left hand of Colin Jones finds the bloody nose of McCrory. Gilles has not thrown a right hand of any authority in some time. Not since actually the 2nd round. Relying pretty much on the left. I've seen no indication, no winch, no sign at all from McCrory that his right hand is again sore. He just simply has not been able to find the target with it. It is McCrory's blood now that stains the canvas. A bloody nose. Good right thrown right there by McCrory. And it caused Colin Jones to blink a bit. There's another right hand by McCrory as Jones was off balance from having missed with his own right, and McCrory now goes with a combination to the head. That's good. Coming up on 20 seconds to go in round number 6. McCrory quiet through the first half of this round, now finishing it with a flurry. There's that hard left by Jones. Another one. The combination was picked off by Jones. Now Jones walks back to his corner and a bit of a smile on his face. I think he senses that McCrory may be at that lull in the fight. Perhaps he is getting tired in the heat of the Nevada summer. Right now, the confidence seems in the red corner where Colin Jones sits. Though Emmanuel Stewart has not said much to Milton McCrory about fatigue. Let's see if we can pick up the conversation.
You're working a good fight. Keep the pace at where you want it to be at, right where you're boxing. So counter with that right hand after you let him miss.
Probably the most important thing that we heard there was challenge him with that right hand.
Block that jab now. Looking good.
Milton looks fine. He's now got a little bit of a mouse that perhaps is developing under his, around his left cheek. But otherwise, he's unmarked outside of the bloody nose. Now Jones comes out quickly. Isaac Herrera, Panama, the referee, does not have a vote. 3 Latin judges will do the balloting. This is for the WBC Welterweight Championship. And Colin Jones now is busier. Let's see whether or not McCrory, who worked some combinations to the head in the closing minute of the 6th round, will be able to repeat it. Hard right hand by Jones. It jarred McCrory. The first solid right hand that Jones has been able to throw. He works now to the body. And McCrory tries to tie him up. Wants a little help from Herrera, but they break themselves. Isaac Herrera was the 3rd man in the ring of that memorable Bobby Chacon Bazooka Lamoon fight we did up in Sacramento earlier this year, and he'll generally let him go at it. He's a very quiet referee, a good one. There's that left hand chopped to the jaw of McCrory. Colin Jones very busy here in round 7. He has landed one solid right hand to the head of McCrory in this 7th round. McCrory reeled off 5 straight, I would think. But since then, Jones has been very much in the hunt. That left hand snapping the head of McCrory again, and again the nose is bleeding. McCrory missed with that overhand right, but comes back trying to uppercut it, and it's blocked. And the confidence of the Welshman seems to grow. The hard left snapping the head of McCrory back again at a minute to go in round 7. McCrory would seem to me at about this point is going to need to stand with him and go with him. Hard right to the body. And Jones now pouring it on to McCrory. Jones' best moment in the fight. No question right here. Milt looks, for the moment, tired. He was stung by the right hand. McCrory, wobbly now, seeming to not be able to elude the left hand of Colin Jones. A left and a right by Jones with 20 seconds to go in the round. A left to the side of the head, a left to the body. Now it's Jones unloading on Milt McCrory. Hard left hook. McCrory's in trouble. He's in bad trouble. Jones drives him back into the ropes. McCrory can't tie him up. Jones is wailing away. 2, 1. The round is over. McCrory just barely hanging.
If everything...
We go to the 8th round. The crowd is up. Jones almost took McCrory down in the closing minute of that 7th round. If McCrory has any speed left in his feet, now would be a very good time to use it, because Jones just whaled him in the final 60 seconds of the 7th round. It could very well have been a 2-point round for Colin Jones, which would make the fight very close again. He was utterly dominant in the 7th. McCrory now marked on the left side of his face. Jones is the pursuer, no question about it. McCrory needs to move, needs to find his 2nd win. Jones was scoring almost at will in the final minute of the 7th round. Can you imagine what the reaction would be if Colin Jones should take a world title back to South Wales? The last one they had over there was Winston. What a time they would have at the Working Men's Pub in Gorsainen, where times are tough. McCrory moving better here in round 8 than he did in 7. Jones is pursuing, but McCrory is eluding better here in round 8. More lateral movement out of McCrory. McCrory stopping, sticking for a moment, but nothing on his punches. Just busy stuff to ward off Colin Jones. He's trying to blunt his charge. He can get this round, get his win back in this round. Seemingly healthy. There's that heavy left hand, but McCrory gets away from most of it. At long range, it is Milt's ball game. The nose is now bleeding again of McCrory. Jones is relentless. McCrory moving quite well. Jones drops his hand, weary of the pursuit for the moment. Snaps that left hand to the face of McCrory twice, both effective. Both missing with their rights. Jones puts his head on McCrory's shoulder and tries to bang the body, but Milt ties him up, and now, with 10 seconds to go, Milt looks tired again. We fought 8 rounds.
Now in the
On a 104-degree afternoon in Las Vegas, Nevada, it's gut check time for both fighters. Both of them have to be weary now. But Colin Jones turned aggressor in the 6th. He almost put McCrory down in the 7th. Milt had Jones down in the 1st round from a straight right hand. Even though Jones remains the pursuer, he is not throwing that many punches. He is not blunting the pencils of the officials. McCrory moving very well through the 8th round, getting his 2nd win. And he looks reasonably fresh here in the early going of round 9. We're scheduled for 12. They went 12 tough ones in March and wound up all even. This one is just as close, I think. Colin Jones, not a terribly mobile fighter, goes straight at his target. And he does it relentlessly. McCrory backing up. When you're backing up, it is a wearying process. We're halfway through round 9. You're not going to hurt Colin Jones backing up. McCrory needs to hurt him right here for his side of the bargain. As that left hand by Jones, McCrory is still yielding real estate. And when you're backing away, you don't have a lot of snap. Milt ties him up. Back comes Jones. There's that hard left by Jones. McCrory's throwing punches. Some are getting there, but there's not anything on him right now. Jones beat him to the punch with the left. That left hook almost got him. Just nipped his nose as it whistled by. McCrory's mouth is open now. That's another sign of fatigue. Hard left hook by Colin Jones. Rips a right to the body. And you've got 20 seconds to go in round 9. Best punch of this round by Colin Jones. McCrory going back dramatized the impact of the punch somewhat, but it was a solid left. Less than 10 seconds now. So we fought 9 rounds, and we will follow the Welshman, Colin Jones, into his corner. Dogged pursuit by Jones, starting to turn things a little bit in his favor. McCrory was in bad trouble in the 7th. Milt came out, stayed out of trouble in the 8th. There were very few punches thrown in the 8th round, not a whole lot in the 9th round. As McCrory again went to his bicycle, and you're not going to hurt a fighter normally when you are backing up like that. And late in the round, Jones found him with the left. You see now McCrory backing up was a little bit off balance, reeled back into the ropes, excited the crowd. Not that much on it, perhaps, but still enough. You can see there, enough to knock McCrory off balance. And I think the expression on his face reflected clearly that he had felt the punch. So Eddie Thomas now ready to send the stocky, tough youngster, 24 years of age, son Simon, about a year and a half, wife Deborah, bought his house. He wants to go back to Wales a champion. And I'll tell you this, he's spending all that he brought. He's trying. It is now the question of whether or not McCrory's point balls in the first 5 rounds is going to be too much for Colin Jones to overcome. McCrory somewhere in this round, the 11th round or the 12th round, is going to have to reassert himself and do some scoring. McCrory going to the left side now, trying to confuse him, but it only got him in trouble with a straight right hand from Colin Jones, and the blood flows again from the nose of Milton McCrory. Milt goes back the other way. I think it was quickly determined for him that fighting southpaw is not the way to go, because he was walking right into the right hand of Colin Jones. McCrory moving. The right hand just missed by Jones. It was a bit wild. Comes back with a couple of lefts to the side of the head. McCrory tries to tie him up, and Colin Jones punishes him inside. McCrory came out bouncing and running and bicycling. And halfway point of the round, question now, will he lose some of that bounce, lose some of that energy in the last half of this round? Jones has been steadily stronger in the closing minute of round 6, 7, 8, and 9. This is number 10. Hard right hand by Milton McCrory. The best punch he has thrown in some time. And it stopped Colin Jones for a moment. But just for a moment. That's a hard left hook to the rib cage. The winner will be the WBC Welterweight champion. The right hand to the side of the head of Colin Jones by McCrory. He needs to throw that right some more. He's got to plan himself, though, to put anything on it. Jones gets off again first with the left hand. McCrory trying the right, but missing with it. Pummeling the head of the Welshman as Jones comes boring in. A little better round for Milton McCrory. He's stronger here in the last minute. There's the left hook by Jones, though. And over the last 3 rounds, he's been able to land that left hook in the final seconds of the round. Round 10 is over. Milt McCrory, as he comes out for round number 11, took a big, deep breath and really a sigh as he came out. We're watching him closely because his corner is in the sun. And they flipped a coin to determine which fighter got which corner. He wound up in the blue corner, and the blue corner right now happens to be in the sun. I don't know how much hotter a body can get than it is already at 104, 105 degrees. Colin Jones continues to march steadily ahead, but Milton McCrory closed quite well in the last minute of the 10th round. This is number 11, scheduled for 12. Colin Jones has not been particularly effective in the last 2 rounds. He did get a big left hook late in round number 9. But McCrory was able to bicycle and run a little bit in rounds 8 and 9 and got him out of trouble after being pounded in the 7th. And he might well have picked off round number 10, but it's still very close. There's the left hook by Colin Jones. Didn't get all of it home. There are 2 doctors at ringside, Dr. Donald Romeo and Dr. Edwin Homansky. We passed the halfway point of round 11. Right hand just grazed the jaw of McCrory. Jones keeping that left in his face. Nose continuing to bleed. McCrory, again, his mouth open. We got a minute to go in round 11. McCrory's now has gone just about a minute without throwing a punch. Seemingly trying at this juncture to stay out of trouble. Now he's about a half a minute to go. He needs a flurry. It's easily said from down here, but with a tormentor boring in on you constantly as Jones is, it's pretty difficult. There's that left, and the left hook just again missed. Right over the top, not effective by Jones. Final seconds of round 11. We'll watch Milton McCrory go back to his corner in the sunshine with 1 round to go. 3 minutes for the WBC Welterweight Championship to become the successor of the great Sugar Ray Leonard.
Okay.
McCrory sort of sagged onto his stool.
You want to get inside?
A question of stamina, heart, guts, courage. Call it what you want. But it's about to come up. Across this 20-foot ring, Colin Jones staring at his man, Eddie Thomas, who's giving him the instructions for the final round. Coming up on ABC's Monday Night Baseball, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 6:30 Pacific, the Boston Red Sox and the Milwaukee Brewers. A lot of lumber broken in that one. And the Montreals and the St. Louis Cardinals. The Montreal Expos very much in the hunt. The National League East, St. Louis Cardinals. World champions having trouble right now. That's ABC's Monday Night Baseball. Coming up next Monday. And here, as they touch gloves for the final round of this WBC Welterweight Championship fight. Jones. Dogged, determined. McCrory trying to fend him off. Very close fight. McCrory with a long left, missed with a right. I thought at March up in Reno, McCrory won the final round and came away with a draw, though Milt thought he had won the fight. Colin Jones said he thought McCrory won the 12th round, and I'm sure it was in the back of his mind, and I'm sure that Eddie Thomas reminded him that he took the 12th from you in Reno to get a draw. Don't let him have it this time. The winner of this round could well win the fight. McCrory chops a right hand and follows with a left hook to the side of the head. But inside, normally it's going to be Colin Jones getting the edge. He's shorter and he's very strong. McCrory wrapped by a left hook. McCrory fighting in an upright position. Left himself exposed for a moment. Jones tagged him with that left hand. Inside, Colin Jones able to put his head right on the shoulder of McCrory, and he is pounding away at McCrory's body. Now Milton with a little flurry. Right hand by Colin Jones. McCrory with a right hand. And that stung Colin Jones. McCrory now with a flurry. You got a minute 5 to go. McCrory with another flurry, and he hurt Colin Jones with a right hand. Another right hand by McCrory. Two game kids, I'll tell you. McCrory trying a right hand lead, not effective that time. Colin Jones steps in close again where he can pummel the body and nullify the reach of Milton McCrory. Jones pounding away inside. Half a minute to go. Uppercut by McCrory. Good. Jones comes right back and pounds the body. 15 seconds. Colin Jones keeping him pinned on the ropes. Banging away. It's over. Tommy Hearns, Billy Hearns, both corners now spilling into the ring. Both fighters being lifted. Colin Jones nose blooded in that final exchange at the bell. Milton McCrory being held up, closed with a flurry. Had his troubles 7, 8, and 9, but came on very, very strong in the final round. But Jones able to nullify the reach advantage of McCrory in the 12th round by keeping him pinned pretty much on the ropes and working inside. But still, I guarantee you it'll be a close call for the WBC Welterweight title. Welterweight Championship. The ring announcer is Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a split decision. Judge Ray Solis scores 115 McCrory, 114 Jones. Judge Angel Tovar scores 114 Jones, 113 McCrory. And Judge Anselmo Escobedo scores 115 to 111 for the winner by a split decision and new welterweight champion of the world, Milton McCrory.
Milton McCrory from Detroit, Michigan gets the split decision call over Colin Jones. 115-114 from one of the judges, 114-113 Jones, and Escobedo had it 115-113, 114 for McCrory. The edge going to McCrory, and so Milton McCrory out of the Kronk Boxing Club from Detroit, Michigan, in his second try, wins the World Boxing Council Welterweight Championship. But what a pair of battlers these two young people are. They went 12 rounds last March, wound up all even. They come back today. They go 12 hard rounds on a blistering hot afternoon in Las Vegas, and it is a split decision. They hugged each other. They congratulated each other, and suddenly there was your call with Milton McCrory getting the call, and he is the WBC Welterweight Champion. Travel arrangements made through. Promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies to Hong Kong for more top business centers with three-class Royal Pacific service.
Saturday on Hooker.
By the champion.
Milton McCrory, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, will be making the second defense of his WBC World Welterweight Championship right here in his hometown. A title he won in August of 1983 in the second of two grueling distance fights against Colin Jones of Wales. The first time around, the two fought to a draw over 12 rounds, and then in August of 1983, McCrory came from behind in the later rounds to win a split decision over the rugged Welshman and the vacant WBC title. In his first title defense against Milton Guest in January of this year, he scored a sixth-round knockout, allaying any fears that he had lost knockout power. We asked him if he had ever seen today's opponent, Gilles Elbilia.
I'm just on film. There's not too much to know about him. I've seen him on film against Nino LaRocca. He seemed to be just a counterpuncher. He's not a puncher, as the record indicates. He's only on 3 knockouts in about 25 fights.
Does he look like he'll be easy or difficult for you?
It seems like he might be difficult. It seems like he has a difficult style to get to. It feels like I might have to take a couple of rounds to figure him out.
So, Milton McCrory here in front of his hometown fans, a large contingent from the Kronk Boxing Club, where his stablemates include the junior middleweight champion of the world, Thomas Hearns, enters the ring here at Cobo Arena, Milton McCrory. Well, Gil, we heard Sugar Ray's thoughts about what McCrory has to do. What do you think his strategy will be against an unknown contender?
Well, I think he's going to use his big ring, Tim, and just try to pick Elbilia apart. But he can land that big bomb, and if he does, I think he'll get Elbilia out of there.
All right, now, of course, for Gilles Elbilia, he's coming in against a taller man, a man who has faced stronger opposition than he has in his career. What do you expect him to do?
Tim, he has to get off first all night, make a war out of it, and try to get lucky.
Gilles Elbilia has a small contingent of French fans on hand here. We asked him yesterday how he plans to fight for the title.
He said, we have worked out a strategy for the last month. I prefer not to give away what we have in mind, but he said, I think it'll be a great 12-round fight.
Well, his spirit is willing. We'll find out whether the flesh is weak or strong. He is in there against the champion of the world, Milton McCrory, and we'll have round one in a moment. I'll tell you this. We are back at Cobo Arena in Detroit, Michigan, and let's go up and join our ring announcer, Jim Ingram.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boxing fans, and welcome to beautiful downtown Detroit's Cobo Arena for this afternoon's main event, the WBC World Welterweight Championship. Today's fight is scheduled for 12 rounds and is brought to you by Don King Productions in association with Gold Circle Promotions. And now the contestants. In the blue corner, wearing white trunks with blue trim, with a record of 23 wins and 2 defeats with 3 knockouts, weighing in at 146 pounds from Paris, France, Gilles Elbilia. And in the red corner, wearing gold trunks with multicolored trim, his professional record, 22 wins, no defeats, 1 draw with 18 knockouts, weighing in at 146.5 pounds from Detroit, Michigan, the WBC Welterweight Champion of the World. Here's the Iceman, Milton McCrory. Our referee, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Carlos Padilla.
And we're ready for the instructions now. There's the champion, Milton McCrory. 22 victories without a defeat. The 1 draw came in the first bout against Colin Jones for the vacant title. And then, of course, he won in a split decision the second time around against the tough young man from Wales. Gilles Elbilia, 23 wins and 2 victories, just 3 knockouts. Obviously not a big puncher, but a busy guy.
Tim McCrory has a lot of 1-round knockouts.
There is a look at the tail of the tape with McCrory holding the height and reach advantage. He came in at 146.5, Elbilia at 146, neither fighter having any difficulty making the 147-pound limit. Well, that is something we can certainly watch for, although he hasn't knocked anybody out early in his last 6 bouts. Gil going the distance 5 times. And then, of course, his 6th round victory over Milton Guest in his first title defense. McCrory in goal. And the challenger, Elbilia, in white with a blue stripe. The referee, Carlos Padilla. The judges, Angel Guzman from Puerto Rico, Jorge Velasco from Mexico, and Salvador Plasencia, also from Mexico.
Tim, this is a very big ring, and it should favor McCrory because he's a very, very long guy, lanky guy, has that big reach. Going to move around and try to pick Elbilia apart. This is probably the biggest ring we've worked in, Tim, 21 feet inside.
Yes, and I don't think it's quite the squared circle. Our measurements indicated one side's a little longer than the other, which is somewhat unusual. Another interesting little sidelight to the equipment in today's fight. These are new gloves made by the Reyes Company. They came from California, and they have a little flap that connects the thumb to the main part of the glove. So there is a thumb, but you can't open your thumb away from the glove. So this is one of the many improvements that a number of manufacturers and commissions are asking for, getting from manufacturers, and we're seeing these gloves for the first time today.
McCrory is starting to find the range with that left jab, Tim. And Elbilia was cut in this fight with Nino LaRocca, and the scar still looks a little angry to me.
Well, that, of course, was Elbilia's only distinction in his career so far, was the 6th-round knockout on cuts of Nino LaRocca, who was unbeaten in 56 bouts. One of the top 2 or 3 welterweights in the world, and probably still headed for a title shot since he won his last fight, rebounding from the loss to Elbilia. But it gave Elbilia the chance to get this world title opportunity. Turned professional in 1977. He is 27 years of age, born and raised in Paris, France. His father, also Parisian-born, was a boxer before him. And that's where his initial influence came from. The family name is Moroccan, and you can see the Jewish Star of David on his trunks. He is a very religious young man. Indeed, said had he had to fight yesterday for this world championship, he would have turned it down. He will not fight on the Jewish Sabbath. Minute remaining in round 1. A small Palm Sunday crowd here in attendance at Cobo Arena, and most of them are here to watch their hometown favorite, Milton McCrory.
So far, it's been entirely a left hand by McCrory. He's controlling the fight with his jab and left hook, and hasn't thrown a right hand yet.
Less than 30 seconds to go. We're down near the 20-second mark in round 1. Oh, good right hand by McCrory. Caught Elbilia leaning.
Came back with a good left hook, too, Tim. The well-trained fighter
of round 1. Round number 2, scheduled for 12 on the WBC Championship rules. The champion, Milton McCrory, in gold. The challenger, Gilles Elbilia from Paris, France, in white. Scoring on the 10-point must system. 9 points or fewer to the loser of a round. There can be a 10-10 even round. McCrory with 18 knockouts, 22 victories. Turned 22 last month, 7th of February.
In Elbilia's fight with LaRocca, he scored a quick flash knockdown with a sneak right hand, and Milton McCrory is very, very well aware of that. I think that is why he's being a little cautious. Picking him apart with the jab, waiting for a real opening before he lets that right hand go.
Milton's observation was that Elbilia is awkward and a little hard to hit and basically a counterpuncher, and he thought it would take him 2 or 3 rounds to figure out how to score more heavily against Elbilia.
Elbilia has been taught to double up the jab, but somebody should have told him that sometimes you can triple it up. He starts to back McCrory up, and then he stops after he throws 2. He's got a habit of throwing 2 jabs at a time.
Elbilia has co-trainers.
There's that sneak right hand, Tim. See, there's that 2 jabs again.
Daniel Elbilia and Bernard D'Ambrosio are the trainers of the contender from France. Emmanuel Stewart, the mayor of the Trunk Boxing Stable, manager and trainer of McCrory.
Elbilia is certainly letting McCrory know that he's in there. Good jab by Elbilia.
Had to be impressed with his spirit and confidence in watching him and chatting with him the last couple of days. Landed that right hand, Tim. He's quick with it, Gil.
Yes. He catches you when you lead with your right hand.
Looks like a little abrasion above the left eye of Elbilia, where the cut that came in the
La Rocca fight. Tim, that is the cut reopened from the La Rocca fight.
That fight was February 18th against Nino La Rocca. Now that can be a problem. It is above the eye.
Good left hook by Elbilia.
Under a minute to go, round two. McCrory doubling up to the body and head, landed the left to the head. Under 30 seconds now.
Nice move by McCrory. Slipped over to his right. I'm surprised that Elbilia is able to get that jab of his in as often as he does, considering McCrory's height and reach.
Approaching the end of round two, scheduled for 12. Milton McCrory and Gilles Elbilia. They've dabbed something on it a little too heavily for Carlos Padilla's taste, and he sends him back to the corner where the trainer D'Ambrosio will have to take that stuff off.
It looked like a target for Milton McCrory the way they put it on.
So we continue now with round three, scheduled for 12, live from Cobo Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Milton McCrory in gold, the challenger Elbilia, France in white. A warning to Elbilia to raise the blows above the belt line. Wild swinging left, missed by Elbilia, and the counter landed by McCrory. Good left hook. It backed up Elbilia.
Elbilia is starting to get a little wild, Tim. Taking chances. When you take chances, you get nailed. But that's what he has to do to win the fight.
2 minutes down, son.
Didn't come here to go to distance. Came here to win a championship.
That's right. Talking to him, he thought that he detected some amateurish moves in McCrory, thinking that he hasn't really had all that much experience as a professional. He watched the Colin Jones tapes and feels that he's the older, more experienced boxer.
Tim, he got shook by a left hook on top of the head. Didn't look like a hard punch, but he got shook.
Yes, he did. He's wobbly now, trying to gather himself on the far rope. And a little more wary now.
Plenty of spirit, though, Tim.
Two wild swings fell short, but he popped the jab back in. The right hand scored by McCrory. We're in the third round with a champion sensing he's got a knockout opportunity, pouring it on. Elbilia wobbly-legged and still going forward, but missing everything.
Tim, sometimes the good offense is the best defense. Maybe he getting there.
Big combination. He's hurt. McCrory peppering away, but look at Elbilia battle back. Beautiful combination by the champion. Seemed to stagger Elbilia, but he threw punches right back.
Tim, that right hand that McCrory landed, you think for sure that Elbilia would go down. He takes a heck of a punch. Thing is, he has no power in his own punches, Tim, because he lifts his elbow before he throws every punch. Just an arm puncher.
Under 30 seconds to go in the third round.
See, there goes that elbow up. So when he does land, it's more or less of a slap.
A short right by the champion, McCrory. Another right-hand counter by McCrory and an uppercut scored. Coming to the end of round three.
McCrory turns southpaw, Tim.
Tim Ryan with Joe Clancy live from Detroit, Michigan. We're back for round number 4. And again, they've lathered that cut above the left eye of Elbilia.
Tim, WBC regulations say that you can only use adrenaline chloride, and I know that they're using another substance. I don't know what it is, but they're using something besides adrenaline chloride. Now, McCrory started out this round boxing southpaw. He was doing pretty good the other ways. I don't know why he changed.
At the end of round 2, when that cut had opened up, referee Carlos Padilla made them take off most of that substance. But this time, he did not go to the corner, and you can see it still smeared across the forehead of the challenger, Elbilia.
I just wonder wonder why McCrory turned around to fight southpaw. Do you think he hurt his hand, or what could the reason be? He was doing fine the other way.
Well, he seems to be throwing both hands freely. We noticed in training where Tommy Hearns was helping him the other day that they put a special foam pad over the knuckles on his left hand, on his right hand, pardon me. And whether he's favoring that or not, we're not sure.
He switched back around again now, Tim. Heading up for that southpaw stuff.
It was interesting to watch in training. Emmanuel Stewart was in Los Angeles with some of his amateur boxers, and Tommy Hearns, the junior middleweight champion, was there doing the bandaging and helping with the training of McCrory. Champion just landed a good left hook. And another.
He's taking Elbilia apart now, Tim. Body on head. Oh, big right hand by McCrory, right on the button. What a game guy Elbilia is.
He's got him in trouble again. Elbilia just won't back up. He takes those shots, wobbles a bit, and throws back.
That's what's allowing him to survive, Tim.
Under a minute to go. We're in the fourth round. Scheduled for 12. The champion in total control, but a game display by the somewhat unskilled number 9 ranked challenger. McCrory looked through Carlos Padilla, complained about a low blow, and he did get a warning from Padilla for the challenger Elbilia. Under the 30-second mark in round 4. Combination scored and rocked the challenger again, but he comes right back with a jab.
That's that double jab, Tim.
Doesn't get a whole lot on it, but he stays busy with it.
One time I'd like to see him throw 3 instead of 2.
Approaching the end of round 4 with the champion Milton McCrory having his own way against the challenge of Gilles Elbilia. Round number 5, as we see the cut that was suffered in the LaRocca fight back in February has been of a problem for Elbilia here since round 2, as it was reopened by Milton McCrory, and the substance being applied in the corner has been a source of a little bit of complaints. Carlos Padilla just spoke to the Michigan commissioner here at ringside about it, and again made the French handlers take some of it off. There is a contingent of fans of Elbilia behind his corner, and they were chanting Gilles, Gilles, Gilles between rounds, and he's giving them a good effort, but really that's about it. McCrory has been the boss.
Well, McCrory has everything going for him, Tim. He has this big ring, he has the long reach, and he has the sharper combination punches. The only chance Elbilia has is to get off first, get inside, and move his hands and hope that something happens.
Well, and we just noticed that he has had a little trouble with his shoes there as he slipped trying to go forward.
Well, the difference is, Tim, that McCrory has rubber sole shoes, which a lot of the fighters favor today, and Elbilia has the old boxing shoes that most of the fighters used to wear.
He just landed his best punch of the fight, a left hook. But he is slipping on this canvas.
Yeah, but I noticed there's no rosin down on the canvas, Tim. And see, the rubber shoes do not need the rosin, but you need them with the regular orthodox boxing shoes that have been in use for years.
As if he doesn't have enough handicaps coming into the bout.
And you know, that's one of the, when you can't get traction when you're boxing, Tim, it takes away from your punching power, your defensive skills, everything. It's very, very difficult to fight when you're slipping. You should know about that with the hockey players. They can't fight, they're on ice.
That's a very good point. Elbilia ties up. McCrory hasn't done that throughout the course of the fight. He's been willing to trade. It's been costly.
See, that left hook of Elbilia is a sneak punch, but again, he lifts that arm out, so he's only hitting him with his arm instead of his body.
Under a minute to go in the 5th round. Blood from that cut so far has not been a problem for Elbilia vision-wise.
What a left hook McCrory landed. Tim caught him coming in. Can this guy take a rap? Wow.
McCrory's been using every punch in his arsenal. You just saw an uppercut there. Down to the body and the head. Switched around to southpaw style.
That cut looks a lot more angry on Elbilia now, Tim.
20 seconds remaining, round number 5.
Stays right there and punches back.
Coming to the end of the 5th round, Milton McCrory in gold, Gilles Elbilia in white. The WBC Championship. Round number 6, Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy live from Cobo Arena, Detroit, Michigan, the champion of the WBC welterweights, Milton McCrory in gold, Gilles Elbilia from Paris, France in white. And on our scorecard, the champion has won every round, but he has had a somewhat difficult time in putting any real hurt on Elbilia. He's rocked him a few times, but the Frenchman has refused so far to go down. Just throws punches back, and again he's hit hard down. That time he fell down going backwards. I don't know whether he slipped or whether it was a late effect of the punch.
He got nailed with a big left punch before that, Jim. Well,
yeah.
His legs went right from under him. And with this big ring, you can't find the ropes when you're backing up.
So a knockdown is scored by the champion. There's blood from the nose of Elbilia now. McCrory has it in difficulty.
He's bleeding from everywhere. Look at him trying, though, Tim. He threw a desperation right hand.
Left hook by McCrory. McCrory trying to get the knockdown here in the 5th round. Elbilia backing up for the first time in the fight, and Carlos Padilla has stopped it. Elbilia complaining, saying he's all right. He wants to continue.
He's looking, bouncing up and down, saying how good his legs are. He's in shape.
Trying to show Padilla that he can still fight. Elbilia very disappointed that they've stopped it. But Carlos Padilla feeling that this was an overmatched circumstance, evidently, because he has stopped the fight. And it is a 6th round knockout for the champion, Milton McCrory, picking up his 23rd victory without a defeat. And his 2nd successful title defense. So Elbilia trying to convince the referee that he could continue, but Carlos Padilla, in fact, he is still trying to. Elbilia is still over there, bouncing up and down in front of the referee in the far corner to our left, trying to convince the referee Padilla that he is able to continue. And indeed, right now, he looks pretty fresh. Of course, he's had a chance to recuperate. He was bleeding heavily from the nose. And there you can see an angry Elbilia. That's his father in the gray sweatshirt. And on the right there is co-trainer D'Ambrosio. Meanwhile, the champion, McCrory, as we go back in to the 6th round, we'll see that punch that sent him to the canvas the first time. Big left hook right there. Now look at this kind of a delayed reaction. He staggers back, doesn't go down, and then falls before McCrory can hit him again. Gil, as you pointed out, it looked like he was expecting to have the ropes behind him as support. This is a 21-foot ring. He never got there.
That's right. You know, you get used to boxing in those smaller rings. The average ring is 18 feet inside. And it looked like he was groping for the ropes and never got there.
But it was ruled a knockdown. The count was rendered, and shortly after that, Carlos Padilla, with blood streaming from the nose of the challenger, stepped in to stop it. So there is another look at it as he goes down, took the count there, and then the fight was stopped shortly after that. And we'll be back here at Cobo in just a moment to talk to the winner and talk to the referee as well. Right now, let's take you to our studios in New York and Pat O'Brien.
Thank you, Tim, and of course we'll be coming back to you at the fight. But first, let me tell everybody that there's still a great deal of boxing action ahead on today's program. Earlier today, out in Detroit, Tommy Ayers, a top 10 welterweight. That's all still ahead of us here after we continue after these messages. The controversial fight. Tim, you've got it.
And we are back at Cobo Arena, and we are with the loser here first, Gilles Elbilia, with his cornerman, George Cantor, who can interpret for us. We'd like to keep the referee here as well. George, would you please ask Gilles what his impressions are of the referee stopping the fight?
Qu'est-ce que vous pensez d'arbitre?
C'est scandaleux parce que je commençais à peine à être chaud et je commençais à rentrer dans le match. C'est scandaleux.
He said it's a real scandal. He said, I was just going into the match. The referee had told us that there was 3 knockdowns, and he stopped it in the World Championship. It's a disgrace.
L'arbitre avait dit 3 fois avant d'arrêter le match.